for failure to pay child support. Do you understand why you're before the court today?
No, I don't. I understand this is a civil infraction, and I don't know why I'm being held on a civil infraction that is a payable debt. It's unlawful to arrest somebody on a civil infraction that even the officers are saying this is a civil infraction that I should not be in here. So basically, it's like, give up on life then? What? I'm supposed to be the next one to wrap a sheet around my neck and say, screw it, because I can't take care of my family. I'm no good for anybody. Can I also ask for a paternity test to be done? I want to know this kid is mine then.
Today, we're in court for a hearing that quickly becomes tense. The defendant appears before the judge over allegations that he failed to comply with court-ordered child support obligations. Rather than focusing on what he has done to address the issue, he begins challenging the court's reasoning and explaining why he believes the orders shouldn't apply the way they're being enforced. The judge listens, but it's clear that the hearing isn't about debating legal theories. It's about determining whether the court's orders were followed. When a judge issues a lawful order, parties are generally expected to comply unless that order is modified through the proper legal process. Simply disagreeing with it isn't enough. Let's dive in and see how the hearing unfolds.
Mr. Kendall, you're before the court today for an arraignment on a bench warrant for failure to pay child support. Do you understand why you're before the court today?
No, I don't. I understand this is a civil infraction, and I don't know why I'm being held on a civil infraction that is a payable debt.
Okay,
it's unlawful. It's unlawful to arrest somebody on a civil infraction that even the officers are saying this is a civil infraction that I should not be in here.
Okay, it's not a civil infraction, and there are criminal penalties for failure to pay child support. So the law says that you can be incarcerated for failing to pay child support for various reasons. So you're incorrect on your statement of the law there.
That's what I was told.
Well, you were told wrong. Okay, I'm informing you.
And your officers are even saying that it's a civil infraction.
Okay, if they said that, which I'm not sure that they did, maybe that's what you heard, but that may not be what they actually said. I'm a circuit court judge. I'm telling you that the law is, if you're found guilty of failure to pay child support, that's a contempt of court. If it's your first finding of contempt for failing to pay, you could face up to 15 days in jail. If it's a second or subsequent.
What I didn't understand about the whole child support is it's supposed to be a mediator between the friend of the court is supposed to be a mediator between the two parents. It's not supposed to be a profit made upon two parents. And as long as a judge is taking the case, they're getting paid for it. I'm wondering why everything I've looked up and all the things like Elon Musk is saying that the friend of the court right now is under suspicion of fraud, and that they were looking at that stuff. That's what I've been reading online. So how is it that all this is going on and I'm going to get arrested over a debt that's payable? How is that going to help me with my wife is sitting out there now who just ended up having to go to the hospital because she's having a breakdown, because we're both having a breakdown. And now I can't take care of her. I'm the one that gives her medical attention. I'm the one that gives her medicine to sleep at night. I'm the one that makes sure she eats every day like she's supposed to. I'm the one that's always with her. And that now I can't even take care of my wife who's sitting there because I'm going to be in handcuffs and sitting in here. How is that going to help me to throw me in jail? Within 45 days, I get out and I'm gone again. I mean, it's not going to help me any by taking away my right to be on the street and actually try to find a job, which I have been trying to do. I have stopped at Bear Trust. I have called all kinds of different places. My brother just said a True Frog and Gaylord is hiring. And I have no place to stay but my car and an old camper that's falling apart that I'm trying to fix. I'm trying to take care of my wife. I'm trying to take care of us, trying to eat, trying to anything. She's saying I'm looking at 45 days right now. And I'm like, what is that going to do for my wife and that, who has no family to go to now because her rights were taken away from her children and stuff. So she doesn't have anybody that she can go to right now. And I'm the only one there to give her meds and do all that. So basically it's like, give up on life then? What? I'm supposed to be the next one to wrap a sheet around my neck and say, screw it, because I can't take care of my family. I'm no good for anybody. I'm locked up in here. It's not going to help me.
Okay.
I don't even know how she's doing right now. The best bet for me to do is I have so many days to come back in here again with a job thing every day if I have to. Stop in here and give her a slip. This is where I filled out an application.
I'm just waiting. And until you're done, because I do need to tell you what your rights are and so forth about how we're going to proceed. So can I do that now?
I'm just
okay. So
As the discussion continues, the defendant repeatedly tries to justify his actions, arguing that his circumstances should excuse his noncompliance. The judge carefully redirects the conversation back to the central issue, whether the defendant made reasonable efforts to comply with the court's orders. Court proceedings often focus less on explanations alone and more on documented efforts, communication with the court, and whether someone acted in good faith to address their legal obligations. The hearing also highlights an important legal principle. If someone believes a child support order is incorrect or no longer reflects their circumstances, the proper approach is to ask the court to modify the order, not simply stop complying with it. Throughout the exchange, the judge emphasizes that respect for the process and compliance with lawful court orders are essential to the justice system. What do you think? Should courts place greater emphasis on a person's explanations, or should compliance remain the primary focus?
as a parent of a child, you have an obligation to support that child financially. And that's what the friend of the court does, is ensure that parents are meeting that obligation, that legal obligation. And to that end, the court issued an order that required you to pay child support. When you fail to obey an order of the court, you get charged with contempt, and contempt is punishable. In this case, if it's a first finding of contempt for failure to pay child support, of up to 45 days in jail. If it's a second or subsequent, up to 90 days in jail. So that's the legal authority for the court to incarcerate you. You do have the right to have a hearing as to whether or not you should be found in contempt. You have the right to have an attorney present at that hearing. And if you want to have that hearing, then I would set a bond that you would have to post or remain in jail until we can have that hearing.
Can I also ask for a paternity test to be done? I want to know this kid is mine then. I've never had that done. I haven't seen her in 10 years. I have to pay. If I have to pay every time, I know I'm supposed to have rights to see my child. I don't even know what she looks like, Your Honor. I haven't seen my daughter in over 10 years. I have no clue even how pretty she is or how smart she is or anything. I don't even know what she looks like. I haven't seen my daughter. I don't even know her.
Okay, we're not going to deal with any of that here today. We're trying to figure out how we're going to go forward with this contempt charge. Let me ask Ms. Leach. Ms. Leach, do you have a recommendation? I mean, how did you want to go forward today? Did you want to proceed with the contempt proceeding?
I would, Your Honor. Would you like some of the background information that I have?
Yeah, please.
Mr. Kendall has a monthly obligation of $475. His arrears at this time are $8,915.05. Last payment we received on this case was in June of $289.88. I did speak with him this morning on the phone. He had told me that he at one point had moved to North Dakota to take a job out there. He claims that he didn't stay out there because the guy was abusive to his wife, but he came back here. He told me this morning that he's living in a fifth wheel camper that's really nice, that he's been doing some remodeling on it. He told me that he was given a car by his wife's mother. He did mention that he's gone to a few places to apply for work, but he also mentioned to me that he's been back in Michigan for about a month now. And the few places that he's told me that he's gone and looked for jobs doesn't seem to me that he's really putting out the effort to be out there finding a job. I mean, most people would be pounding the pavement every single day. We don't have anything that states that he can't work in any capacity. We don't have any doctor's note. We have nothing from him in that. We don't even have a good address for him at this point.
I don't have an address.
We would be asking for a finding of contempt. He has had multiple bench warrants on this case, but he has not had a previous finding of contempt. So he would be looking at the 45 days. And then I would just ask to leave the purge amount at the $2,400. That includes the $100 bench warrants cost. And that's what Judge Boudet had ordered on October 6th of 2025.
Okay. All right. So Kendall wants to admit responsibility and plead guilty to the contempt. What I typically do is have it set for a hearing. So that would be my intention today. So, Mr. Kendall, those are your options. I told you what your rights are in terms of having a hearing before Judge Boudet, who is the assigned judge to this case. So you do have the right to have a hearing. You have the right to be represented by counsel because there's a potential criminal penalty here. Or you can plead guilty here today. So how did you want to proceed?
I'm going to have to plead guilty. I mean, I have no choice. I mean, I obviously didn't pay, but I've been trying to find a job and I just got the car not even 2 weeks. And I've been out hitting the street with the car looking for a job. I just got it where it's got plates on it, just got this for it. And no, the camper's not nice. I'm staying in a camper that's shitty, trying to fix a camper to be nice. The whole back end of it's open right now. And if it starts snowing in the next 45 days and me being arrested, there goes my camper, there goes my stuff.
All right, based on the information regarding the arrearages and statements of Ms. Leach here on the record today, the court finds that you have failed to pay child support out of available resources or failed to exercise due diligence. So the court will find you in contempt for failure to pay child support. The court will impose a 45-day sentence in the Kalkaska County Jail. The court will allow you to be released with the purge amount. And is that the $2,400 purge amount, Ms. Leach?
Yes, Your Honor.
I don't know anybody.
So if you were able to make that $2,400 payment and $100 in court costs, then you would be released immediately and would not have to serve that entire 45 days. Otherwise, you will be remanded to the Kalkaska County Jail for that period of time based on the court's findings here today. And Ms. Leach, will you prepare an order reflecting that finding of the court?
I will, Your Honor, and I will fax it over to your secretary, Jennifer, if that works.
Okay. All right. Thank you. That's all for this hearing today.
By the end of the hearing, the judge concludes that the defendant failed to meet his legal obligations and imposes a sanction for that noncompliance. The decision reflects the court's responsibility to enforce its orders while encouraging future compliance, rather than allowing repeated violations to continue without consequences. Whether people agree with the outcome or not, the case serves as a reminder that disagreements with a court order should be addressed through legal procedures, not by ignoring the order altogether. The hearing also demonstrates how preparation, documentation, and respectful communication can have a significant impact when appearing before a judge. Now it's your turn. Do you think the judge reached the right decision, or should the defendant have been given another opportunity to resolve the issue outside of jail? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy real courtroom breakdowns, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Moo Chanel, and turn on notifications for more courtroom content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.